It is 6:15 on this glorious spring day. It felt so nice getting outside today. It actually felt like spring,
So good.
sunny, warm.
I was actually kind of starting to question whether Russ really liked today.
No, he loved today.
yeah.
But there were quite a few more adjectives than normal, even by Russ standards.
Wow.
So yeah, obviously pretty good takings today for us.
It was nice.
Things are going to be a little bit back and forth for us this week, but we have a lot to talk about as another storm system is developing and coming to us. Temperatures are going to be dropping back into the 40s as we get into the late night hours. We will see some breaks in this overcast every now and again. We're still sitting well into the 60s in Northeast Ohio. The few showers that we had right along the lakeshore have lifted northbound. We have a beautiful evening setting up. So Russ, you do have a chance to get outside and take a little bit of a stroll. Enjoy this beautiful evening that is going on. The rain is out to our north as of right now. Now we do have a frontal boundary that is sitting to our north, and it's just gonna sit with us, unfortunately. So tomorrow we have one of those days where it's gonna be cooler along the lakeshore than it will be farther to the south, and then we get a huge push coming by the time we hit Wednesday. Yet again, it's a western storm system that emerges into the plain states, fires up a big low, and that low is going to be headed northbound into the Great Lakes region. They're expecting a major winter storm in the northern part of the plains. Meanwhile, we are expecting the possibility of some severe weather on the eastern side of the storm system. For tomorrow, the weather will really begin to ramp up in areas west of us. You can see yet again, we have another moderate outlook from the National Weather Service. That's a 4 out of 5 on the conditions that are set up for severe weather. So this is not necessarily a slam dunk kind of a forecast, but this is the same scenario that we had going last week. We're doing it all over again. And then by Wednesday, that whole system begins to move to the east. So we are anticipating the possibility of severe weather here in Northeast Ohio, just based on atmospheric conditions. So as we're watching Wednesday, here's how the big picture begins to set up. We will see this storm system getting into the plain states here. There's the low as it begins to make its way east of Colorado, western sections of Kansas. Notice the winter storm side of this that is setting up. The cold air is off to our north. By the time we hit Wednesday night, now we have a well-developed storm system. We're starting to really import some heat here into the plains. More importantly, we are also importing humidity. That's the big difference with this storm system versus others that we have dealt with so far. We will have a lot of humidity moving into Northeast Ohio. When we talk about severe weather, there's 3 things you need. You need heat, you need humidity, and you need a trigger. We have all 3 coming together in the next 48 hours here in the plains states. By the time we move into Wednesday morning, now our storm system is really wrapping up around the Twin Cities, and you can see this line that begins to develop. This is known as a squall line of storms. That storm line will continue to move to the east. Now, the big question is timing when it gets here. Will it be earlier in the day? Will it be a little bit later in the evening? So if the storms fire up to the west of us, do they lose all their power by the time they get here? Right now, it looks like we're going to be right at the crux of all of that. So we have the warm air that will be here. We have the big humidity that will be here, and we have the trigger coming in, but the big action on the storms may happen west of us, and then we end up getting the leftovers. So the most likely timing on these storms is in the evening, and again, this is on Wednesday. Primary threats are going to be high wind gusts and downpours. We can't rule out tornadoes only because when you get those lines of storms, sometimes one storm tends to work against another, and you get little spin-ups in there. So that's the only concern with that. In the meantime, here's your National Designer hour-by-hour forecast for tonight. You can see the south wind continues as we get into the start of the day tomorrow. We're going to be right around 50 degrees with dry conditions. We get to see some sunshine tomorrow as temperatures are expected to stretch into the mid-60s once again. So if you don't get your stroll in today, you may be able to get your stroll in tomorrow. So mid-60s, cooler lakeside, warmer farther south. Then we blast into the 70s in your Union Home Mortgage forecast, upper 70s. Ooh. And I do think the best chance for the storms will be in the evening, so there will be dry times that we can get out and actually enjoy those temperatures in the 70s. However, what goes up will come down. That happens on Thursday. The good news is it's all out of here by Friday for the Guardians home opener in the 50s.
So good. Yeah. No complaints.
Timing works out okay. We'll just keep an eye on those storms.
Okay.
Excellent.
More adjectives from Russ coming soon.
Coming soon. Good adjectives, by